Hello, how y'all doing today? My name is Mario Matthews. I'm the owner-operator of Minute Dawn Productions, and I'm also the new author to the book Dream No More, Rise of a Lion. If you'd like to check out our website, you can go to minutestilldawn.com. Minute Till Dawn Productions is an entertainment media production company focused on empowering the black family. And if you'd like to purchase the new book, Dream No More, Rise of a Lion, you can go to Amazon.com where you can purchase the paperback and the ebook version, and you can also purchase the hardback on Lulu.com. All right, so I'd like to get into today's topic. Today's topic is very important for the development and growth of black families here in America. And this topic is, what does ADOS mean to me? Now, if you don't know what ADOS stands for, ADOS is an acronym that states American Descendants of Slaves. Now, before I get into the topic, I actually wrote a tweet about this on my personal Twitter account, and if you'd like to follow me there, you can you can check out at Author Mario. So on Twitter, I actually wrote, Black descendants of American slaves, hashtag ADOS, is about acknowledging, honoring, and proactively advocating for a specific group of black people in America. We will right the wrongs that have been done to our families throughout American history. Opposition is anti-justice. So, I'd like to elaborate a bit more on that tweet. Here in America, since black people have arrived on the shores from the belly of slave ships, we have essentially been the literal vehicle, property that was used to generate the wealth of this country. My ancestors, black ancestors of American slavery, they were worked to death day and night. At first, it was the men that were brought over in great numbers to serve one purpose, and that was to work until they die. Free labor every day until they died. Now, soon after, they included women, where they bought them over as merely property or cattle to breed more slaves. They were raped, they were tortured, they were tormented, and their kids were literally sold off like the litter of dogs. My ancestors fought in both sides of the Civil War, mainly because they didn't really have a choice. But the overall consensus was they knew that this was a greater step towards what they would hope would be a freer society, where they can actually be seen as men and women and not property to merely be discarded. However, when they essentially gained what they thought was emancipation, and they walked off those slave plantations, they were given nothing. Although they were promised property and cattle, they were given nothing. They walked off those plantations into the crushing conditions of poverty and inequity. They were criminalized so they can re-enter slavery in sort of a backdoor way. And when they finally realized that Racism was their bar to success. They crawled back to those slave plantations in order to find some kind of work because they didn't have anything. They were never given anything, although they were promised that by our government. So, during the times of Reconstruction, a lot of black people were actually trying their best to build entire towns filled with only black people. They did everything in their power to educate themselves, to bind together as a community. And for a time, it actually started to work. They built businesses, they built townships, they built, schools where they would teach black children. They built hospitals where they would, treat illnesses of black people. They built banks, they built barbershops, they built all kind of stuff. And then the white mobs started to come. They would lynch people, cut off bodily organs, calling them a picnic. They would lie, steal, and cheat people out of land and resources. Terrorize people through racist terror organizations like the KKK. They bomb entire townships full with black people. This is a period we like to call the Great Migration, but nobody was migrating. People were running away. They were running away from the South because so much terror and destruction was going on that who in their right mind would stay there? But there was nowhere really to run to. And the people that vowed to protect their citizens, United States government, unfortunately nothing. Not only that, but a lot of state government officials, state, federal, they were a part of it. During the New Deal, a lot of people, mainly white people, according to the dominant society, a lot would get homestead loan. Well, during the Homestead Act, a lot of them would actually gain a lot of wealth and benefits through, newly acquired housing and land that was sponsored by the government. Entire families actually found a new profound avenue of wealth through this particular medium. However, black people, the descendants of American slaves, the black descendants of American slaves, we were barred every step of the way. We were barred. No bank loans, no business loans, no GI Bill. You know what I'm saying? No education loans, none of that. We call that redlining. They identify a particular neighborhood which so happen to be full with black people, go figure. And they say that this place, this particular place, do not give any loans or housing credit vouchers, anything. No, don't give it to them. During the crack epidemic and the Iran-Contras, a lot of people, a lot of black people, still under the burden of poverty and inequity that has been pervasive within our communities for so long, we're now finding some sense of what they would call, quote unquote, success through selling illicit drugs and stuff to their own people. But all one has to ask is the next logical question: where was all this coming from? Black people didn't own any fields of poppy. Black people don't own any guns. Black people don't own gun manufacturing companies. Black people don't own any, shipping apparatuses to transport drugs from one place to another. Where was all this coming from? I wonder. It has led, the war on drugs have led to the most massive corral of black people, particularly black men. It has led to numbers that has far outreached any other time and period in history where prisoners were corralled into these corridors of doom. We've seen entire families being swept away because of it. To this day, you have so many black people behind bars because of non-violent drug offenses, where laws were essentially molded to favor some drugs over others, where it just so happened to be the ones that black people were using just so happened to be the unfavorable ones. And then you get to the three-strike laws of the 1990s, where during this time it accelerated mass incarceration, skyrocketed. Now you can go to jail forever just for having like a dime bag of weed. Interesting. So, now mass incarceration is a thing. Just so happened to be that, according to the Constitution, you are not a slave unless you are a prisoner. Okay. All right. That brings us to today. ADOS is a movement. A movement that has been spearheaded by greatly influential people. Antonio Moore, an attorney out of California, Yvette Carnell, a graduate of a political science degree. They have sat down and not only crunch the numbers of wealth and inequity that black people, the descendants of American slaves, the black descendants of American slaves, are currently experiencing, but how it's been so pervasive and so misunderstood that perhaps we need an entire realignment within life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness within America. Why? Simple. It is because the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness has a foundation in America. And that foundation is the body of our ancestors. All of that which is the failure of America, it is baked within the group, the context of blackness, where all of the labor and all of the cost is put within the context of this group to offset this same medium with whiteness, which most of the success, the ownership, is within the context of said whiteness. How do we solve this? We solve this through repairing that which was broken, the original sin of the country. We have to solve, we have to fix what was broken. If all of the failure is baked within said group, black people, the descendants of American slaves, the black descendants of American slaves, if all of the cost is baked into that group, then it is also our responsibility as a country to fix that which was broken. And that is why reparations is important to our group. Now, with that being said, this is a fight that have always been waged. However, it is a fight that must be continued, because if not, then that would simply mean defeat. American descendants of slaves have always had a culture that is predicated upon reaching the true pinnacle of justice. What is that pinnacle? That pinnacle is merely to fix what was broken and to replace a system of racism, white supremacy, with the system of justice. You must fix what was broken. That is justice. With that being said, that is what ADOS means to me. ADOS means to me a continuation of a culture that is predicated upon perseverance, strength, dignity, integrity, honor, and remembrance. That's what it means to me. If you'd like to check out more about Minutes Till Dawn Productions, please go to our website at minutestildawn.com. Minutes Till Dawn Production is an entertainment media company focused on empowering the Black family. Also, if you would like to check out our new book, Dream No More, Rise of a Lion, you can check us out at Amazon.com. There you can purchase the paperback and the ebook version. You can go to Lulu.com to purchase the hardback version. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to sit down and listen. And yeah, take care.